Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to the second stream of the day, of course. This morning, I did a quick stream reacting to the developments in Virgil van Dijk contract situation. So if you missed that one, make sure after this stream, don't go anywhere just yet. Make sure you go check that out. You can watch the full replay on the channel right now. And tonight, I'm delighted to be joined by Justin, who hosts the RBL Talk podcast. So Justin, do you want to just give a quick introduction to yourself? What made you start supporting Leipzig, and what sort of work you do on your channel, mate?
Well, hello everyone. My name is Justin. I am the host of RBL Talk, an RB Leipzig podcast in English. I do live stream watch-alongs. I do guest interview videos as well for the RBL Talk segment, where I have basically anyone can come on the show, whether you're a supporter of RB Leipzig or a supporter of another club like Liverpool, or if you just want to have your say on how the club's doing or anything like that. I read out fan submissions as well, and all things like that. I've had multiple guests on the show, multiple appearances on other hosts and YouTube channels, so thank you very much for having me. And yeah, I just started supporting RB Leipzig. People always give you a little bit of stick about it, for the simple fact of that it's a company club in Germany, Bundesliga. It's not really a big thing. You do have a couple of other ones like Bayer Leverkusen and Wolfsburg, which is owned by Volkswagen. My apologies. But they're also originally from the companies themselves. It's a whole big different ball game when it came to Red Bull. I won't go into detail with that. If anyone ever wants to ask, they're more than welcome to ask me. But my family are actually from Germany. I was born and raised here in Australia, but all my family are from either East Germany or Northern Germany, from Leipzig and in Kiel. So I basically wanted to start supporting a football club. Growing up in Australia, football is normally called soccer. It's not really a big thing, but growing up with European parents, I really got into it. Wanted to find a team for me to support. And I was watching a lot of games, Liverpool included. Over here, the EPL was pretty big. And then I just settled on RB Leipzig, and I've been a supporter ever since at least 2010, basically since the foundation. And I've been able to watch games as soon as possible. So, yeah, it's been a wild ride.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's about 20 of you in here right now. There'll probably be some more people come and join us later on. So please make sure on entry you are smashing the like button. The RBL Talk YouTube channel is down in the description as well. So if you enjoy this podcast, make sure you go ahead and subscribe and look out for Justin's content. As we were just talking, Justin, about what we're going to discuss, I completely forgot to tell you what we are going to start on. So this is completely throwing you on the spot here, but I'm pretty sure you've probably covered it on your channel anyway. I do want to start off talking about Jurgen Klopp, if that's okay, because obviously you'll be no stranger to know that he's been our most successful manager in the last 30, 40 years. A lot of history in the Bundesliga as well, and now he's taken the controversial move to the head of soccer, I believe, or football, whichever word they use in the job title. But he's the head of Red Bull Football Global something. You'll be able to give me a bigger insight on what the job title is. But yeah, from what you know, what is it that Klopp's going to be doing? And yeah, just break down how that news has been perceived with both Leipzig fans as well as fans from other clubs that might not be necessarily happy about it, mate.
Yeah, so basically his role is going to be basically a liaison. I'll probably butchered that word. My English isn't even the best at times sometimes, not to mention my German. So he's basically a in-between person from the CEO and the head of owning Red Bull itself and the football department. So he'll be sitting most likely on the board in RB Leipzig, as they are actually owned by like a non-profit organization with board members, and that's how they control the voting and all that stuff. Big 50-1, stuff, whatever, because mostly the fans and supporters in the Bundesliga do the votes, have the voting say. Unfortunately, no, with Red Bull, it's a bit different. But basically, he's a liaison between how all the teams are performing, and he'll help with scouting, help with the managers, with any of their tactics and style of play. I'm looking forward to seeing what he will bring to the table, with his philosophy, with the Gurgen pressing and a few other things like that, which does fit in with the Red Bull style of play for most Red Bull teams. And at Leipzig, for the general consensus, even going through the tweets and posts in German and using Google Translate and things like that, the general consensus has been pretty good. Everyone's welcomed him with open arms. Obviously, Borussia Dortmund fans very not happy. We just recently played Mainz, where he started his footballing career, or a lot of his footballing career. And yeah, they had some banners that weren't very happy about it. I've got a podcast coming out in the next 24 hours or so, which will release basically what happened in that game. A lot of the time, there's a lot of Bundesliga teams that boycott the RB Leipzig games because they just dislike us. And look, it's understandable. I understand that why, but we're here to stay. It's been 15 years. Some people just get used to it, but that's my opinion. Obviously, I'm biased. But yeah, they basically had a bit of a dig at him. Like, have you forgotten, what your roots were, or things like that? And there was a couple of posts as well that I've seen on social media that were people just saying that they disrespect him now, or they don't like him anymore from what he's done, and it's tarnished his name. Look, at the end of the day, Jurgen Klopp is a great manager, and he knows good football. It's a good to have him in the position as an RB Leipzig perspective, but for everyone else who's basically just saying, they don't like him anymore, or they don't disrespect him now, or something like that. It's like, come on, guys, like, seriously, like, it's his choice of employer. Like, I'm sure most employers around the world, they don't do things that are very good, so to speak. And you're going to judge the person on their basically employer. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, it's his job at the end of the day, isn't it? And obviously, he's got ties with Dortmund and Mainz, obviously Liverpool, but that's not really significant in this matter because obviously some Liverpool fans will disagree with it as well, but realistically, it doesn't affect us because Red Bull don't own a club here yet. Probably will. I know they sponsor Leeds United now, so there could be something in the pipeline there in the not too distant future. But yeah, I agree. I don't think it changes him as a person. It doesn't change what his morals are. It's his job at the end of the day, and he said that he's ready to learn again. And he doesn't want to go on the sideline necessarily unless it's obviously the German manager, which I think there's a clause in his contract which would allow him to leave this role should that come available. And he said this is just giving him the platform to be able to sort of, stay in football, learn, oversee a few things at a few clubs. And his mate Pep Linders as well needs to book his ideas up because at Salzburg he might have to have a few conversations about his future I think they won at the weekend, but yeah, it's not been a great start for Salzburg. But yeah, I just thought it'd be interesting to get your opinion on that. Obviously, from the Leipzig space, you would have seen how the reaction was. But let's talk about Leipzig season because we've spoken about Liverpool season so many times already. I mean, it seems like we've played loads of games. We're top of the league. We've won our 2 games in the Champions League. We all know this that are on viewers on this channel. But I want to hear from your season, how your season's gone so far, because I'm not going to lie, I've not watched any Leipzig games. Usually when you're playing in the Champions League, we might be playing or there might be another game on. So I've not really kept up with Leipzig. But you're second in the Bundesliga, same points as Bayern, 5 wins, 2 draws, 0 defeats, which is 17 points. And in the Champions League, you've had 2 games so far, which have resulted in 2 defeats against Juventus and Atletico Madrid. So, summarize how your season's gone so far, the good and the bad, and maybe why domestically you've been really good, and in the European stage, you've not got the results.
Yeah, well, it's been a bit of a roller coaster season. At the very start of it, we were pretty poor, but obviously at the start of seasons, you can't always just start off, on the front foot. And the team is very new as well. We've had some new signings coming through. The Red Bull philosophy has always still stayed the same. Marco Rose has been the manager for us for quite a while now. Players know him well. We were able to get players back, even just on loan, like Xavi Simons. Sometimes I'm a bit critical of him. He's still a fantastic player, and a few other players as well. But really, domestically, we've failed a couple of times in games that we should have won. Like, we should be top. We had that 0-0 draw against Union Berlin, and also the St. Pauli game the couple of weeks after, or a week after, or so, not long after. And they're games that, as an RB Leipzig supporter and RB Leipzig as a club, they'll be looking to be winning those games, especially if we're going to be taking that extra step forward and being able to win the Bundesliga. I mean, Leverkusen have dropped off a little bit, but they're still playing great football, so they're still going to be competing for the Bundesliga title this season. The Rekordmeister, you can't ever discredit them. So that's Bayern Munich. For those that don't know, Rekordmeister is just record champions in German. And yeah, look, it's been up and down. We've had a bit of some brain fades here and there. I think we've played better actually in the Champions League, even though we were unlucky to lose the game against Juve. That was just, we're up 10 men, so up with 11 men to 10, and also up a goal as well. And, we threw it away at home as well, which is really disappointing. But it's a young group, young players. They'll learn from that. And look, it's. I was saying we probably won't go through to the top 8 with how the new Champions League fixture is. So it's like the first 8 get straight into the round of 16, like knockout round. But I think we might even be struggling to get through. Excuse me, get through into just the round of 16 playoff, which is like I think it's like round teams 9 to 26 or something like that. Excuse me. So yeah, look, we've got Celtic coming up as well, Strumgras, Milan. We've got a few tough teams and tough games in there. So we're going to want to really be, putting our best foot forward. And look, hats off to you guys. You guys are a great team. But I think we've got our work cut out for us on Wednesday night in Leipzig. Even though we have all the fans behind us and everything like that, it's a very tough game. But I think all the lads are up to it if they put their mind to it.
Absolutely, and obviously we sit. I'm not actually sure where we sit. So I think it's goal difference. So we've won our 2 games, but we are 5th. Plus 4 goal difference, 0 draws, 0 losses. Of course, 6 points. Who's top? Dortmund are actually top. Well, so So looking at that, Leipzig, we've had a few games against you in the past, and you've had some that have been quite comfortable. We've had some that may be a bit more tighter. Let's look at your last. The last team that you fielded. So this is your most recent game against Mainz. This was 2-0 win to you guys away from home. So it was Golaski, who's former Liverpool. Don't think he ever actually played a game. Lukba, Orban, Klosterman, Nusa, Hadara. Pronounce that for me, please, mate.
Which one, mate? So
number
18, Arthur Vermeeren.
Vermeeren, okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Gertruda, who was linked with us for a bit in the summer, obviously the Arna Slot connection. Benjamin Sesko, Xavi Simons, and Lois Apenda. So I'm looking at that team and I'm seeing a lot of attacking talent. Definitely a lot of players on there that could cause us issues. And I just want to know from your perspective, when you come into this game on Wednesday night, isn't it? It's not tomorrow. What you think the game plan is going to be? Maybe any areas from Liverpool's team that you think might be able to cause you problems. And equally, when you're looking at your team, if it is going to be this lineup, feel free to, hint at any changes that might be made. Where you think that you'll get the most joy from your 11 that starts that game.
Yeah. So, excuse me. That lineup is technically wrong. We play a back 4, not a back 3. So we play with a 4. For those that play FIFA or Football Club or whatever it's called these days, I'm not much of an avid gamer myself anymore. I used to be, but it's a 4-2-2 narrow, basically with the fullbacks giving us the overlap and width wide, with the central attacking midfielders in Xavi Simons and Antonio Nusa there, giving us extra width as well, playing basically on the shoulders of the 2 strikers, which is normally Luis Apenda and Benjamin Sesko. Mm-hmm. And now we had Casella Lukeba at left back as the injured David Raum. He's done his ankle with some ligament damage. Before I found out about the actual ligament damage, I already said that it was probably going to be up to 4 to 6 weeks, depending on how the severity of the sprain is. Then they found out there was actual damage, so that means surgery, which is at least 3 months, depending on obviously your healing and rehabs. So he's definitely not going to be playing. I don't really think there's going to be too many changes coming through against you guys on Wednesday night. We did have a couple of players coming through. So Kevin Campbell just came back from an injury. I think it was a knee injury. He had some minutes against Mainz on the weekend. So he'll be either starting or coming on most likely for Amadou Haidara. They're probably your best 2. Vermeeren was also great against his former club in Atletico Madrid, and also didn't play too badly if I remember seeing him against Juve. So he might also start. So, but they pretty much are locked to at your central defensive midfielder areas. Unfortunately, Nicholas Seiwald is also out with an injury. Asan or Drago may be coming back, may make an appearance. It might be a little bit too early. The young 18 German
Another
international.
player that was linked with us, was he at Schalke?
Yeah, correct. He was at Schalke.
Yeah, he was
Came
linked with us
over.
for a long time, yeah.
Me personally, if he doesn't get many minutes, he's a fantastic talent. I think he should just probably just go out on loan, maybe if back on Schalke, if at possible. I'd love to see him be integrated into the team a lot better coming into the second half, but I just really don't see how many minutes he needs to get for his development, basically, with the likes of Xavi Simons and Nusa. Elif Elmas is also pushing to come back as well. I'd like to see a lot more of him. I've always been very critical of Marco Rosa. With Elif Elmas, it's like a roughly 20 odd million euro flop basically from Napoli. He's a great footballer. He's just never really been given the chance or minutes to really play. I'm only probably one of very few people. A lot of the German Leipzig supporters, from what I've seen, have basically said he gave him his chance and he didn't do anything, where he pretty much only had 1 or 2 games that were over like 30 minutes, and one time he started last year. So personally, if he's not going to be playing, which, look, he's got the talent for it, it'll do him a world of confidence if he starts. I honestly think that we played Xavi Simons too much. But I mean, he's a workhorse. He loves his football, of course. So I think that you should probably put Elif Elmas on the right-hand side and Xavi Simons on the left. I'm pretty sure that's how we line up, most likely. And then we have Benjamin Sesko and Lewis Pender up front. I don't see that changing very much. With our strikers, we only have a couple of others. Yusuf Powson will probably make an appearance at some point. Andre Silva, maybe, but he's on the way out. I think he's fallen out of favor again with Marco Rosa. So we've got some talent even with the players that aren't in form. And I think we'll still line up as a 4-2-2. The back four is going to be where I'm going to be most questioning where we're going to be. So with our back four, it looks like Estela Lekeba is going to stay at left back. He did quite well. But then with the centre back position, you will have Willie Orban there. Benjamin Henriks is now fit as well, so he may play right back. But you also got Latrell Gertruda. Sometimes I slip up on that name myself. And Lucas Klosterman can also play right back as well. So you've got 3 players that can play that. Young Bishebu as well can also play left back. So if Lekeba needs some rest, but he's only 18 years old, it might be a little bit too much for him in a Champions League game, but he's definitely up for it. So I think our back four will most likely be Lekeba on the left, Orban, and I'm going to guess Klosterman in central defense, and either Gertruda or Benjamin Henriks on the right. And if Gertruda doesn't start on the right and Henriks does, I'm probably going to say he will take Klosterman's spot at centre back.
Perfect. I mean, it sounds like you've got a lot of options there, no matter where the position is. It seems like you've got a stacked squad. I know a lot of those names as well, by the way, because you mentioned FIFA earlier. I remember when the Leipzig thing with Red Bull not first came around, but it sort of you started competing, with Naby Keita and players like that. I remember doing a career mode, and I had Yusuf Poulsen when he was about 78 rated, and he was an absolute joke on FIFA. He's like a giant, but he's rapid. And I remember just scoring like 30 goals in the Bundesliga with Yusuf Poulsen, and one of my most nostalgic career modes I've ever done. Anyway, I digress. Maybe we'll talk about Naby Keita in a bit as well, actually, because you won't know this, but anyone that knows me personally will know that I have a soft spot. 1 second. Not even a soft spot. I just absolutely love Naby. And I get criticised for it a lot because people will tell me he's not this, he's not that. I don't care because I know that when Naby Keita played football for Liverpool, more often than not, he was brilliant. It was just getting him to play football, which was the tricky part. But yeah, that's my Naby Keita shirt there. Anyway, I digress again. Let's look at the Liverpool starting 11 prediction, because this is what I've come up with. I'm pretty sure this will be it. If you guys disagree, let me know in the comments. There are 19 of you in here. Get involved in the conversation if you are around. If not, leave a comment on the replay and I'll reply to some of them. But this is how I see our lineup going. Obviously, Alisson's injured for the foreseeable future, so Kelleher comes in. Robertson, Van Dijk, Canate, Trent. There's no injuries or anything in the back or from Chelsea as long as I can remember. Midfield three is going to be McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai. Obviously, McAllister didn't start against Chelsea because of the international break, and it was absolutely ridiculous. I think he played on like the Tuesday night in Argentina or wherever that game was, and then you have to be ready for Chelsea. And then the front three, again, Luis Diaz didn't start against Chelsea. It was Cody Gakpo. Nunes didn't start either. It was Jota, but he got injured. And obviously Mo Salah is going to play every single Champions League game ever, providing he's fit. So that's how I see our lineup going. 4-3-3. I mean, look, 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, 4 whatever. Everyone's got their own opinion and own idea on how slot lines up. It probably is more of a 4-2-3-1, but I'm just so used to Jurgen Klopp's 4-3-3. I just still see it as this, to be honest. But I'm going to talk about one player in particular, which you would have watched a lot of football with as well, because this player has pretty recently split the Liverpool fan base into two. Some people really rate him, some people don't. Some people might be a bit undecided. Some people might say that Slot's playing him in the wrong position and he should be playing somewhere else. But I want to talk to you about Dominik Szoboszlai, and I want to know from you, when he was at Leipzig, obviously everyone knew the name Dominik Szoboszlai. I'm pretty sure he was more of a right-sided player, correct me if I'm wrong. And if so, what was it at Leipzig that, maybe it was a system thing or something that they looked at with him? What was it that made him thrive? And for Liverpool, where do you think he would be best suited to play? Because again, it's a question that has split opinions.
Yeah. So for you were saying just off air that Dominik Szoboszlai, he's introduced in the Liverpool lineup as like pretty much a number 10. That's a sole number 10, is that right? Or
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, look, he's got the qualities of a number 10. But when I think of a number 10 or something like that, I would look more towards someone like Xavi Simons. Basically. So for me, he's not a number 10. He's more of a playmaking midfielder, like a number 8, or he can play as a number 10. But he's more of one of those players where he needs like a midfield partner. So he's a great dead ball specialist. He's able to, make some great passes, has a fantastic eye, and has a good crosser of the ball as well. But he's not one of those players that is going to be able to dribble or make or create chances for himself. He's not really known for his technical dribbling ability, basically. So it's not to say he can't dribble. He certainly can. Yeah. But he's not really one of those players where you would expect him to be able to beat a man or anything like that. He's got the skill to beat one-on-one. But yeah, for me, I wouldn't be putting him as like a sole like number 10. So that's why we played so well for RB Leipzig, because we have two creative attacking midfielders. So they bounce off each other, and they can also create space with how we press the ball, similar to how you guys press as well. So if you put him as like a second fiddle, or even if he's the main midfielder, you do a lot better in that perspective than just being a out and out number 10. As for me, a number 10 has to do everything. It has to be a good dribbler, good eye of the pass, good shot at goal. Like, he's just not that quality of player. He's a fantastic player, don't get me wrong, but he's not the mold of what a number 10 would be.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're spot on. And when he first came in, I thought he was more of like, and people that don't rate this guy that I'm about to say will think this is like a bit of banter, and I'm being deadly serious. I thought he was going to be like the new and improved version of Jordan Henderson. And by that, I mean, he was just going to run up and down the pitch, box to box. He's strong. He's not quicker than Henderson, obviously. He's absolutely rapid. And ball playing skills, ball striking skills, again, chalk and cheese compared to Jordan Henderson. So I thought it was going to be more of that, just have this workhorse in the midfield, somebody that's a bit versatile, can play as a 10 if needed, can play on the right, can play different areas, but again, just offers you that physical presence and the pressing, which he does do. And I think that is the one thing, no matter what you think of Dominik Szoboszlai, you can't deny that his physical presence and his pressing ability is probably one of the best that we have in the team. And a lot of people have been saying when Harvey comes back, maybe Harvey comes straight back in, or, you go with Jones now after his great game. But let's not forget, before yesterday, these people probably weren't saying Curtis Jones should start for Liverpool anyway. That's a different conversation. But yeah, I agree. I think he needs to be more of an eight, more of a box to box or right sided player. I don't think as a number 10, he's got the creativity that you need to possess that role. I don't think his decision making, and sometimes he's got the ball and he'll hold it for way too long before making a decision. And I think as a number 10, you've got to think quick, you've got to react quick as well to what's going on around you. Yeah, I agree. I think maybe a bit deeper, and I think that's probably where he'd thrive the most from us. But yeah, I just want to get your thoughts. Obviously, a former Leipzig player, we are no stranger, to signing players from a Red Bull team. Obviously, I had Kanate, we've had Naby Keita, I think Mane started at Salzburg at some point. There's probably a few more as well that you've got that we might come in for further down the line. So we shall see. I think the relations have always been good between Liverpool and Leipzig. So yeah, and it's good as well, by the way, because you get some really good players. Obviously, a lot of them you let them develop at Salzburg, and then they come over to you, or you just get them from around the Bundesliga. So it is good to always keep an eye on Leipzig and who the young talented players are coming through. So yeah, I guess we'll just sort of finish on this because I think we've got through most of what I want to talk about. Again, coming into this game, so Wednesday evening, it's 7:45. It's that cold. I don't know what it will be for you actually because of the time zone, but for us, it will be a cold, dark Wednesday night. It's a Champions League night. They're always special for Liverpool fans. How are you going to be feeling sitting down to watch this game at whatever time? First of all, tell us what time it will be for you so we can sort of get an idea. And then, yeah, how are you feeling going into this game? Are you confident? Do you think that Liverpool are there to be got at? Yeah, tell us exactly how you feel going into this one, mate.
Yeah, so for me, in being in Adelaide, Australia, a lot of the games, even just the Bundesliga games, they're normally between 10 and 11 o'clock at night, sometimes as late as, I think, 3 or 4 in the morning as well, like
Wow.
on a Sunday morning, depending if it's the top spiel, which is the top game of the weekend.
Yeah.
So, for instance, a game coming up in a few match weeks in the Bundesliga, we play Borussia Dortmund. That will be at 4 a.m. for me. So this Champions League game is 5:30 in the morning. I'm actually going to be doing a watch along during this game, so because I've got the day off of work, surprisingly enough. So yeah, I don't expect a whole lot for us. Really, and by that I don't want to sound too bleak. For me, it's more of I don't expect us to win. The ideal result would be obviously a win, but a more realistic result would be a draw. Something like a 2-2 draw or something. I think there'll be goals. Both teams aren't gonna just not attack. They're great attacking sides, so they're not going to rest on their laurels on like a 1-0 or something and play out a boring rest of the 70 minutes if a goal gets scored in the first 20 minutes of the game. So it's going to be an entertaining game and fixture, that's for sure. So hopefully we can get more eyeballs on RB Leipzig in the Champions League. I don't know who else is playing personally.
Yeah, no idea.
During that time, I just worry about my team. But yeah, so 5:30 a.m. It's in the middle of summer as well. We've just had a few 33 odd degree days, 33 degrees Celsius. So the UK guys, I'm pretty sure, are all in the metric system. It's only the funky Americans that do those imperial measurements. So I have no idea what those measurements over there equate to. But yeah, so it's going to be warm and muggy morning for me. Just going to basically enjoy the football. I think that you guys will win it. Just because you're pure class, basically. I'm more interested to see on as the first real look that I'll have of. I'm probably going to say the name wrong because I only saw it momentarily. Arne Slot or Arne or
Correct.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Dutchman has been quite well so far at Liverpool in the EPL, which is one of the best leagues, if not the best league, coefficiently, so to speak, in the world football. So to be doing so well even so early on is a feat in its own right. So it'd be interesting to see how he brings his football, how different it is compared to what Jurgen Klopp left over there, if there's any remnants or anything left of that. And basically looking at a couple of players of you guys as well. There's a couple of players that I've haven't seen much of. So there's one young player, I think it was Elliot, I haven't seen. Yeah, so interesting to see how he is. Gakpo is also a decent player. I saw him pop up a couple of times in just the like the EPL match week type thing. Like there's a thing on Optus Sport in Australia who has the EPL rights. I watch it every now and then, just like a 30-minute like basically goal shark or something. I don't know. But yeah, look, it's going to be warm. It's going to be muggy for me. I'm going to be enjoying the football, that's for sure. But yeah, it's going to be more interesting from how you guys play, and if it's what I'm going to be expecting, how you guys are going to play, compared to us really doing anything different, so to speak. Like we're just going to come out. We'll probably first 15 minutes might be cagey. Won't be doing anything in particularly fancy. If we can score early, that'd be great. The home crowd behind us, but I really don't see us threatening you guys in the very end. That's not to say that we can't win, as it's Champions League night. Anything can happen. But yeah, no, I do think that Liverpool will be able to get the job done.
Yeah, unfortunately, there was one player there that you mentioned, and again, he's one of my favourite players, and I think he genuinely is going to go to the top. And it's Harvey Elliott. He is injured, so we're not going to be able to see him for this game. I don't think he's supposed to be back soon. It was like a foot fracture or something that he picked up relatively early on in the season. So, yeah, but yeah, if you've not watched much Harvey Elliott, yeah, watch some comps and stuff, and the technical ability, like as like an English player, we don't really see. We're starting to see them more often now, but to have the technical ability that he has is a joke. And again, I think he's massively underrated even by our own fans. He's already come back from one big injury when he was like 18. He was I don't know if you saw it. It was a horrible injury against Leeds United.
One thing just before
you
go, I don't mean to cut you off. My
No,
apologies.
that's fine.
I wanted to find out from yourself. Do you guys still swap your your wingers, like your left wing and right wing? So Mo Salah and whoever plays on the other side.
No, so
No.
Salah normally sticks on the right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that going into this game as well, that you guys are going to really like be able to run havoc down the right hand side with Mo Salah if he's fit, and Salah Lacaba is a good player. Don't get me wrong, but he's going to be look like a chump, so to speak, with the technical abilities of Mo Salah. Like I think you guys can really exploit that that left hand side, or for you guys right hand side, with Mo Salah, and if you pretty much like dominate a lot of your attack down there and leave us exposed, because that's pretty much where our weak point is at this point. I mean, you guys can really create chances from anywhere, really, with the amount of players and skill that you have all over the pitch. But I really think that if you exploit that early, especially to see instead of getting Salah Lacaba comfortably, if let's say he is starting at left back or whoever starts at left back, gets into the game and gets settled. If you don't let him get settled, then yeah, I think it could really be possibly even a goal fest early down that right hand side for you guys.
Yeah, we'll see, mate. And look, a lot of games that have gone so far this season, we started off quite slow. Even yesterday, there's a lot going on in the early stages, but Chelsea, for most of the first half, had a lot of the ball, a lot of possession. And look, Arne Slott's results have been incredible. We're in a position which I don't think many fans would have thought would be in this at this time under a new manager with a new system and new ideas. But I think this probably is the best time to play in the Champions League, especially at your place, because it's still relatively early on. I still think this team's got 3-4 more gears to go before we're anywhere near our best. I've been very happy with what we've seen so far. The results have been amazing. But obviously, and this is, just natural, when a new manager comes in, it's not going to be perfect straight away. So I know you're saying that you expect Liverpool to win. I agree. I expect us to go there and get the win. But I just feel like for you guys, who, you're well into your project now and the way you play, the players you've got, I just feel like this is the best time. Rather it be, that 7th or 8th game week. I don't know how many games there are in the Champions League anymore, to be honest. But you know what I mean? It's better for you guys to play as right now, 3 games into the Champions League at your ground under Arne Slot, because a lot of Liverpool fans haven't been convinced. The results have been there. We've been winning games. Obviously, we lost at home to Nottingham Forest, which was quite embarrassing, and that was a shocking performance on that day. But a lot of Liverpool fans, even though we've got the wins, they still want to see a bit more from this team. And I think it will come, the improvements will come. It's only natural that you start off like this and you develop. And if everything was perfect straight away, I'd be like, whoa, that's amazing. But how long can we keep it up for? But I think we're slowly and gradually getting into it. So I do believe that from your point of view, for Leipzig playing Liverpool at your ground, this is probably the best time to play us.
Yeah. That's it. I reckon if it's now or never for us. And, if, like you said, we could win the game still, and that'll only be for the simple fact of one, we're at home, and two, the players know how to play like their style of football better. As we've obviously under a new manager, you guys are still working out the kinks and getting his philosophy and how he wants to play his ball and things like that. So I still think you guys are going to win. No question about that. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from, and from Liverpool perspective, I would be expecting to come, even though you're coming over to Germany, you're going over to one of the top teams in Germany, playing their home ground, and they're a little bit weakened, which it's the old saying is like if something's weakened, you either fight or do nothing, and I don't expect us to not to lay down and just let you guys win. So we're going to be trying to take every single chance that we get to get those 3 points. But as a Liverpool perspective, I'd be wanting to win that, and I'd be expecting to win that as one of the big clubs in Europe.
Absolutely, and again, I think we are confident that we'll go there and win. But obviously, the San Siro win was really good, and I think that's gone under the radar. Obviously, went to Old Trafford and got the win. But then again, anyone can do that these days. It's not that impressive going to Man United and winning as much as it used to be. But yeah, we'll see. I think it promises to be a good game. Two teams that like to attack and go forward, and two teams that have really good young talent in them as well. So it'll be exciting. And I'll be here on Wednesday night, straight after the game, to react to whatever the score is. So make sure you stick around, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, and make sure you also follow Justin's channel, RBL Talk. Link in the description down below. Justin, thank you for jumping on, mate. Any final thoughts before we sign off?
No, it's been a pleasure. Go RBL, and we'll see what happens on Wednesday night.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you're leaving comments if you're watching on the replay. Make sure you're smashing the like. It really helps the channel out. It pushes the streams out to more viewers and more people. And yeah, we'll see you Wednesday night. Take care.